So you want to play Mass Effect. I'm Music.
And I'm BLT.
And I'm Cinegard. We're Castle BSM, and today we're going to tell you all about it.
Mass Effect is a tactical shooter RPG. That's right, a shooter that's focused more on story than the gameplay. Sounds like a horrible Call of Duty. There is no way any game like that would sell well. Mass Effect is a fine example of how to make a game. It had a firm idea of what it was going to be right from the beginning. It would be the first of a trilogy where the main character gets to make critical decisions. These choices would affect the story of not just this game, but those to follow. The story of Mass Effect follows an elite soldier named Shepard. He learns of a new threat facing the galaxy, but people do not believe the severity of his warnings. How and what Shepard does is up to the player, but the game branches off based on choices they make. An inconsequential decision may have ramifications later down the line. Did you sleep with that Asari?
Not with everyone else.
BLT, not now. I'm in the middle of my shtick. Did the Agent of Shadow broke or die? You will be wanting to replay the game just to see how the world changes based on those choices made.
It's a shooter, you said. Where's the action, the adrenaline rush, the blood, the horror?
It's always blood and gore with you. Next, you'll be telling us to review Gears of War.
Maybe we can do that.
Cinegard, careful. You're giving him ideas. BLT, the story is the central pillar holding this game up. Did you want to talk about gameplay?
Sure. The original Mass Effect has seen better days. The graphics, well dated, serve the purpose of conveying a part of the story. Dear God, you're right. The story is everywhere. It shows even in the graphics.
Well, there are variations of weapons and armor. They do not really change anything aside from stats.
You can get mods, which kind of help with that, but they're there mostly to add, you guessed it, stat modifiers. Comes off as uninspired, and while there is a cover system, combat feels clunky. It all adds up to max damage for minimal heat increase. Heat? Yeah, your weapons have infinite ammo, but build up heat. Shepard is fully customizable except voices. Male or female, choose one. There are classes, and you get to choose one at the character creation. You could be a biotic, a techie, a straight up guns blazing badass, or more. You can upgrade your skills and unlock new powers. Your squad mates are more rigid, but you can upgrade them as well through the same systems.
So, the story is great, but the gameplay leaves something to be desired?
Yeah, that about sums it up.
But just how much is there to do?
Are you gonna tell me, or...?
So Music mentioned earlier that the replay value is high. Part of that is to see just how much changes between playthroughs. There are 11 primary missions and DLC that adds a fair amount of content that, if completed, adds value to future games. You'll visit many locales and planets like the Citadel, a massive space station, or war-blasted worlds like Pharos. You'll drive the Mako and fire massive explosive rounds at your enemies, all to prove a point. You can even complete side quests without being prompted. You can even do New Game Plus and continue to level your character and make all new choices. There is no multiplayer, but that's not a bad thing. Not having superfluous features really enabled them to focus on making a great game. Man, it's really hard to talk about this without spoiling anything, so I hope you appreciate our efforts.
Perhaps we should just call it the scores then.
Sure. We give Mass Effect the following scores.
9 out of 10. Story and world building. Easily the hallmark of the game and a great example of how a game should be made. It's a very focused game and I'd love to see more of it.
8 out of 10 content. DLC and the replayability of the game hold it up through multiple playthroughs and future titles, really solidifying this score.
A 4 out of 10 gameplay. The graphics are dated and the gameplay is extremely simplistic. It's not outright bad, but it's not great. Here's to hoping the remake fixes that.
This comes to an above average score of 7 out of 10. What it does well is fantastic, and perhaps with more time, the gameplay could have been improved. But overall, it's still a game we would recommend you try.
You'll want to play it through at least once so you can carry your progress over to the next game. Speaking of, man, that's beautiful.
We have to. We already reviewed this one.
Oh, by our names, yes! If you're looking forward to that, like, subscribe, and hit the bell, and we'll see you in 2 weeks. And hey, maybe you'll watch some of our other stuff while you wait. Nah, I don't blame you. Don't worry, we'll be switching around our release schedule soon.
We can swear by our own names? Isn't that like a sin?
It isn't if we do it. Besides, who are we sinning against? God? We are gods. You missed.